When I think about the 2021 New York Yankees, I'm reminded of the 1997 James Cameron film Titanic. Titanic was based on actual events. This gigantic ship, it was the biggest ship in the world at the time. It was billed as being unsinkable. And then on its maiden voyage, it hits an iceberg. And the owner of the ship line says, "This ship can't sink." Hey everybody, how's it going? I began watching the New York Yankees in 1987 when I was 4 years old. But the first time that I ever remember knowing the manager's name was in 1991. It was Stump Merrill. It was kind of an interesting and unique name. That's the reason I knew it. But that team began 6-11, and they ended up 71-91 and coming in 5th place. And the next year, Stump Merrill was no longer the manager. It was Buck Showalter. I've seen a lot of people calling for Buck Showalter to be hired to be the new Yankees manager and replace Aaron Boone. And I'm not totally against that. I do think he's a good baseball man. He's never won a World Series, but he's managed for a long time. And the same thing was true of Joe Torre. When he became the Yankees manager, he had managed all over the place. In fact, he held the record for most games played and managed without ever winning a World Series. But he ended up being just the right guy at just the right time to lead the Yankees to a dynasty. Nomar Garciaparra is thought of as one of the most legendary Red Sox of all time. He won multiple batting titles. In 2000, he hit .372. And in 2003, he batted .301 with 28 home runs and 105 RBIs. He was a top 7 MVP candidate. But in 2004, the Red Sox, having lost in the American League Championship Series to the Yankees, thanks to Aaron Boone, current manager, the Red Sox got off to a bit of a slow start. They were only 10 games over 500 at the trade deadline. They recognized that Nomar Garciaparra wasn't the player that he had been in previous years. They recognized that they were lacking in defense at a couple of areas, and so they made a baseball trade. They traded Nomar Garciaparra to the Cubs. It was actually a 4-team trade in which the Red Sox also picked up Orlando Cabrera from the Montreal Expos, shortstop Alex Gonzalez from the Cubs, and first baseman Doug Mientkiewicz from the Minnesota Twins. Mientkiewicz actually went on to become a Yankee, and I really liked him. He was a great defensive first baseman. The point of this move was to shore up the defense and to build better chemistry. Garciaparra had been a little bit disgruntled about his contract. He had sat out some crucial games against the Yankees, and so the Red Sox just decided to make this blockbuster move. And you know what? It turned the season around, and they won the World Series. The point I'm trying to make is that sometimes you have to make unexpected or unusual moves in order to change the chemistry, to change the foundation and the build of the team. I feel like Brian Cashman probably doesn't have the cojones to make the move that Theo Epstein made, but you might have to move a Gleyber Torres and an Aaron Hicks and maybe a Clint Frazier and maybe a Gary Sanchez. You might have to make the blockbuster of all blockbusters if the Yankees can't turn this thing around. I feel like the core is there. Garrett Cole is an ace. You need an ace for the playoffs. Luis Severino's coming back. As long as he's basically Luis Severino, that gives you a really, really top flight number 2. Corey Kluber and Jameson Taillon have shown that they're not front end of the rotation starters yet, but they both can give you 3 or 4 good innings, and with the Yankees bullpen, that could be enough in a playoff game. It's certainly better than giving you 1 inning and then going to Jay Happ. It's probably a bit too early to make any major shakeups. Offense is down all over the league, but the Yankees have had 5 hits or less in 5 consecutive games. That's only happened twice in their history, and they look really pathetic right now. And I realize this has been kind of a long denouement, but going back to the cold opening, to say it's too early is true. It is very early in this season. But to say this ship can't sink is just flat out wrong. For the next 4 days, the Yankees are in Cleveland to take on the team soon to be formerly known as the Indians. A quick look at the Indian stats will tell you that the de-juicified balls don't seem to have been shipped to Cleveland. They've got 23 home runs in 16 games. with Jordan Luplow, their center fielder, leading the way with 5. Franmil Reyes has 4, and Jose Ramirez also has 4. Catcher Roberto Perez has 3. Again, batting averages are down. Cleveland hitting just .209 as a team with a .292 on-base percentage, so they can be pitched to, but they do have more power than the Yankees so far this season. Their pitching staff is really, really good. Shane Bieber, last year's Cy Young Award winner, he'll pitch in this series. He's 2-1 with a 2.45 ERA. Aaron Savale, 3-0 with a 2.18 ERA. Zach Plesac off to a rough start. Unfortunately for the Yankees, he is not scheduled to pitch in this series. He's 1-3 with a 6.75 ERA. He's one of those guys that I think the Yankees should take a look at if the Indians decide to move him, because I like his stuff and I like his approach. I think Cleveland might be the wrong spot for him. Their closer is Emmanuel Clase. He is absolutely disgusting. He throws a really hard fastball, a really hard cutter. The Yankees better get a lead early in the game, or else they're going to get shut down by this guy. 6:10 start tonight in Cleveland, so tune in early. The Yankees starting pitcher will be Domingo German. He's coming back into the rotation. Bit of a rough start for Domingo German so far this season. He's thrown 7 innings. He's given up 7 runs. He's 0-2 with a 9 ERA. He's got a 2 whip, so he's given up way too many base runners. He's given up too many home runs. That was a problem even before his suspension. He was lights out in spring training, and I had him having a monster year. I still love his stuff, but he's got to make his pitches a little bit more accurately. I feel like he's leaving too many balls over the plate, and that's why he's getting hit hard. So if he can just paint the corners a little bit more, mix his pitches a little bit better, get that hook going, get that changeup going, maybe we can get a really good start from Domingo German and begin to turn this thing around. But nothing's going to happen unless this team starts hitting.